Hi, coming to you tonight, Dawn Cunningham, trainer for Nexstar Network, with a testimonial that I'd like to share with you, our members. With me on this call, I have Jesse McBride. Jesse is a plumber, and I met him in February of this year in Indianapolis in a service system class. Jesse works for Wyatt Works, and we're just going to dive in. He's out of Wickliffe, Ohio, a Midwesterner like myself. But we're going to dive in and get some questions going and just get some feedback from Jesse. Jesse, welcome. I appreciate your time in doing this.
Of course, thanks for having me.
All right. So first question I have for you. What is your trade and how long have you been doing this? And even a little of your background if you'd like to share.
I'm a plumbing technician. Um, I have been in my current role for about a year and a half. Prior to that, I worked for a plumbing wholesaler for about 7 years. Um, and I just have a background in general repairs of everything.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you. So you had mentioned that you worked for a supplier, so you knew the parts, which probably helped as you're moving into the actual technical role.
Oh yes, definitely. There's some plumbing technicians and even the owner of my company who's been in business since 1985 that I've actually educated him on some of the parts that are available and what different things actually do.
Got it. That's awesome. Love that. All right. What were your thoughts or any expectations that you had as you were going to training?
I wasn't really sure on what was going to happen, because my company, they did actually prep me from day one. We always do some service system training, at least once or twice a month. Um, so I thought that I had a pretty good handle on everything. Um, but I wasn't really sure on what to expect really when I got there because I really didn't know how much different it was going to be.
Got it. Got it. Well, with that, what would you say was the one thing or any, even if there's multiple things that caught you by surprise when you got to training or as you were going through training?
Uh, really, I actually thought that I knew more than I did, and it was kind of a shock to me just how much I didn't know that I thought I did. Um, there was so much, it was so much information to take in, and I thought that I had it, but I didn't.
So just to clarify, are you speaking about the fact that your company had trained you on some service system, so you knew some things, but just to get to train it expanded it that much bigger for you?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, definitely.
I want to make sure I understood that correctly. So thank you for the clarification. What would you say was your best takeaway from training?
My best takeaway, honestly, I think is was more of the asking the open-ended questions to the clients and just key verbiage, words to use, words to avoid, and using paper options
Yeah.
on everything.
Okay. All right. With the thought of our founding motto, success through education and sharing, what would you say were the benefits that you experienced working with others from different companies while you were at training?
Got to see different perspectives from other technicians, other salesmen, stuff like that, that are even in other fields. Um, just people that were like me that were just there to learn and just little things that they would do that I never even thought about just to fine tune the things that I could do or thought I could do.
All right. Jesse, what did you feel leaving training?
I felt as though it was a lot to take in, but I was feeling more confident in it and actually running the service system. It helped to uh, clear up, potential concerns that I had about it, thoughts, questions, things along those nature like that. Um, yeah,
Okay. So when you think about that and all the things that you took away, and I think if you remember, I say in class, it's a lot, which you just verified. But don't think you have to tackle it all at once. Like, pick something. Would you say there was one thing that you picked that you were going to put into action right away when you left training, or maybe even on your first couple calls?
Um, honestly, I dove all in. I was all in with it. I took everything that was there and I initiated everything. There was no
Nice.
one thing. I was following it to the T.
Very good. I love that. Did you feel, like you said, you left training with more confidence? Going into your first couple calls, was that confidence there, or do you feel looking back that it just built every time you went to a new client?
It built over time, definitely.
Yeah.
The first couple calls that I went to after the service system training, I struggled with because I was trying to initiate everything.
Hmm.
Um, and it was just so much, and I was trying to remember everything, and I was fumbling and bumbling and forgetting certain things. Um, but then I would take time to reflect afterwards and think about what I did, what I didn't do, and I just took that to my next call and continued to build on it.
I love that. I love that you just said that you reflected on it, because we don't learn from our experiences as much as we learn from reflecting on them. You know, what did I do? What didn't I do? And how can I do something different on the next call? Love that. Um, Now I remember specifically, it was 3 weeks after training and I was getting on a plane and I got a text from you. And you told me a big story, and I'm going to let you see if you remember or what story that was. But I share that story with a lot of people. And I remember when you shared this excitement with me, I didn't even have a chance to ask you what was the action that caused this. Do you recall that text at all?
Vaguely, but I can't remember which
All
job it
right.
was.
I know that question was something that was kind of off, but I like I said, I get so excited about sharing this. Like I said, 3 weeks after you were in training, I'm getting on a plane. It's a Monday, and I get a text from you, and you said, Dawn, I went to a client's house last week. I got a call today that they decided to go with my option, my biggest option, which was $31,000. And Jesse,
Okay, yes.
before I could even ask you, how do you think that happened? You immediately responded to me and said it was empathy, it was being engaged, and it was listening to understand. So clearly, you took that information from training and applied it, and it became a big result for you. How do you feel those three things have played out since then?
Um, great. Everything has everything has skyrocketed with me with my um I guess you'd say my abilities showing that empathy and everything um because I've just continued with that. Uh
Awesome.
I'm always engaged with with the clients. And I do listen to try to listen to understand everything. And it's seriously resulted in a lot of very good things for me and for my job.
So that's awesome. All right, here we go. Of all the things that you learned, not while you were in class and since then, what do you think has impacted you the most from the training? And this can be personal or professional.
Really, honestly, I think showing the empathy with people. Um, because I've always had a hard time doing that. I never really did that before. Um,
Okay.
and I'm just kind of a hard nosed kind of person. And so for me, showing empathy was very difficult. That was a very big hurdle to for me to overcome and to start to do.
Yeah,
Um, but ever since I've been able to start doing that, it's really changed everything and turned everything around for me.
I love that. Awesome. I can't wait to hear more of your success stories as you go, because you know they're not going to stop now. Just going to keep going. So,
Yes.
last question I have for you. What advice would you give to future participants that are getting ready to go to class?
Listen listen, listen, and then execute. That's the biggest thing. The service system works. Trust the service system.
I love it. I love it. Well, Jesse, it didn't take much time here to get some information, and I sure appreciate the time you took this evening away from your family and just to be able to do this. We're working on putting this out to share it with other members. Your success story becomes someone else's. And it just was something that, as I hear these things from the people that I meet and interact with, I felt the need that other people should hear about your success as well. So I'm so happy for you and proud of everything that's changed. And I just really appreciate you right now.
Thank you. Absolutely.